Coach, you had another positive weekend to kind of round out non-conference play. You were successful last season in non-conference play. What are some of the things that you're trying to carry over from last season into Pac-12 play?
Yeah, it was a good weekend. Two tough teams on the road, getting down to sea level, playing some outdoor competition, always good before we head into conference play. Just like you said, we had a good non-conference record last year as well. I think just getting down there and actually closing out a couple of matches on the road when we had opportunities to do it, not waiting for other teams to kind of hand those matches over to us. I think that is something that we're really looking to do now, carrying over into a higher level at the Pac-12 standard too. We had a couple of chances to win last year, some close 4-3 ones, and we kind of waited for people to give us the win, and it didn't happen. This year we're going to have to go out and actually close out those matches. So hopefully we can kind of take that over from our non-conference play into conference play.
Were there any performances that stood out to you personally, or any unsung performances that really caught your eye this weekend?
Yeah, well, I think you're going to talk to Slava here later on. He had a great weekend. The guy's doing a great job, freshman coming in. He's taking ownership of his position, and he got off the court twice, first guy off the court. So that's all you can ask really from a freshman guy going out there doing a great job. And then it was nice to have Parker McGinnis back in our lineup. Was going to win on the first day, clinched it on the second day, so it's a real positive for us. And then just everybody with Dan Little being out had to kind of move up a spot. You'll talk to Santi here in a little bit too, who played at number 2 singles. That's probably the highest position he's played since he's been here, and came up with a great win in one of the matches as well. So some positive stuff.
Coach, looking to conference play, what's the most difficult thing about playing in the Pac-12?
I think, first of all, before we even talk about conference play, we still have a really tough Pacific team to take care of. So we're still kind of looking a little bit more towards that match than we are towards conference play. I mean, they're a very tough team, especially on the road. But being in the Pac-12, I mean, you've just got the weekly grind. I think that all sports kind of felt making the transition into the Pac-12. There's no weeks off. Every team is really good. You don't play well, you're going to lose. So I think, you've got to bring it every single week. All 6 courts have to bring it. All 3 doubles courts have to bring it. And if you have any guy that's not putting everything out there on the line in the Pac-12, you're not going to be successful.
With the match against Pacific kind of looming on the horizon, is there anything you can kind of tell us about them, or have you not started preparing quite for them yet?
We're about to start preparing probably tomorrow. We'll really look in detail at kind of their lineup, their guys. And we do know, I've played there before. I was in the West Coast Conference previously, and so I've played at Pacific. I know it's a real tough place to play. They're a very disciplined team. They're a well-coached team, especially at home. It's going to be a tough one for us. It's usually blistering hot there in the Central California, and we look forward to kind of taking that challenge on, because if we can beat a team like that on the road, it's going to kind of set us up for those next matches coming up.
Last question, is this kind of something that you as a coaching staff tried to set up this year, as far as playing these tough road matches and playing in these environments before heading into Pac-12 play?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, when we set our schedule up a couple of years ago, it was even tougher than it turned out to be. Actually, this year, a lot of the teams that we set up to play were ranked even more highly when we set up the schedule. And I think if you want to put yourself in a position to try to qualify for the tournament, I think you have to play consistent competition that will also be trying to achieve that same goal. Otherwise, it's just going to be too much of a change when you hit the Pac-12. There's too much of a level difference to try to raise your game, from playing a weaker team to going in against a Stanford or a USC or a UCLA. It's just too much to ask for the guys. So we kind of tried to set our schedule up a little bit more differently. We tried to give ourselves a little bit of a break going into Pac-12 play this year, so we could work a little bit more on what it takes to be successful at that level. And then we tried to schedule some of the road matches down in California ahead of our trips there as well.